Hello. Why do smart people sometimes make bad decisions? Not just occasionally, either constantly. After teaching critical thinking for over 25 years and making what sometimes was life and death decisions, really important decisions, when I ran my nonprofit group in Nepal, I've noticed something that's changed about how I think about thinking. Bad decisions aren't caused by low intelligence. They are caused because we have distortions in our judgment or in our thinking. And the smarter you are, the better you are at defending those distortions. Here's what I mean. Intelligence is like a powerful engine in your car, but a distortion is like a bent steering wheel. So your strong engine doesn't fix the steering wheel. It gets you in the wrong direction faster and with more confidence because you feel really good about, I got here so quickly, I just decided like that. But in my years in the classroom and in the field, I kept seeing the same three distortions kind of coming up all the time for all of us, myself included. So today I'm going to show you all three distortions so you can start trying to notice them in your own life. And then in future videos, I'm going to present the three fixes for those distortions. And I'll give you a specific strategy for each distortion. So what am I talking about? What's the first distortion? The first one is what I call distorted logic. When we face a decision, we think we're weighing it out, like the scales of justice. Really what we're doing is we're like a lawyer and we're making a case in favor of what we want to happen. We, as human beings, quietly already picked the answer to our decision inside of ourselves. And then we set about collecting evidence to support what it is we want to happen. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. And it doesn't feel like bias when it's inside of us. It just feels like you're doing research or you're really doing your pro and con list. Picture someone deciding whether to take a new job. They make a list, right? Better pay, new challenge, shorter commute. But notice what that is. You're not analyzing anything. You're making a case for what you already want to happen. Every item there is pointing towards the answer you already want. And the question, what would I be giving up, doesn't really come into your thinking. Now, smart people are especially vulnerable here because smart people can build excellent cases for what they want. So the issue is, what if what you want isn't the best decision? That's what the issue is. And so when you also ask these kinds of questions, you usually get a yes, no, or maybe as your options. And you're missing the rest of the consequences, outcomes, things you should be thinking about. So you're not really weighing anything fairly, are you? So the fix for this distortion in logic is the first strategy in my system. It's called asking the opposite question. It's very simple and yet so helpful. And in the next video, I'm going to be going over it in detail so you can start using it. The second distortion is one of time. The human brain has evolved for immediate survival, not long-range planning. So whatever's going on today carries this enormous weight in our mind. And what's going to happen 5 years from now barely even registers. Even though 5 years from now is where the consequences of your decision actually live. Researchers call this present bias. We are biased to the present moment. And this is why things that happen in our day, we often don't deal with them. You hear a noise in your car and you think, well, there's a noise, but the car got me to work, so it must not be that bad. So you don't run to the mechanic. And then as it gets worse and worse and worse, and in a month when you're at the mechanic, it now costs 3 times more than if you had just gone before. We are very focused on the short term. This is just how we all are. So I wanted to think, how can we help this issue for when we shrink the lens through which we're making a decision? We want to expand that lens. We want to expand time and look at our decisions as they flow into the future. So we can kind of think and not exactly predict, but kind of maybe look forward to what the consequences of these choices will be. So one time I had to make a decision in Nepal that involved someone's life. And I will be telling that story 2 videos from now. And distorted time, if I had distorted time, I would have decided in a certain way. So I'm going to go through this strategy called futurizing, and I'll talk about the story too. And we could discuss how futurizing helps with distorted time in our decision making. And that's the second strategy. So what's the third distortion? I call this one a distorted perspective. And there's a strange fact about all of us. We are wiser about our friends' lives than we are about our own. And this is called the Solomon paradox. King Solomon was quite famous for giving great advice to other people and yet making terrible decisions in his own life. We tend to reason more calmly and clearly when it is another person's decision to make and not our own. When it's our own choice, it gets all full of emotion and it feels more urgent and more pressing. So you've probably felt this before. A friend has a tough situation and your advice just flows out of you. It's clear, it's kind, it's correct. But that same situation in your own life, all of a sudden your brain gets foggy and things are more difficult. This is very natural for all of us. There is a strategy, though, that helps with this. And it's called the third person strategy. And we'll be going through it in a future video pretty soon. So these distortions, you can't fix them until you recognize them, right? So here's something to try this week. When a decision comes up for you, ask yourself, which distortion is running my thinking right now? At least begin to notice which distortions are in your life. And naming the distortion doesn't solve the problem, but it helps kind of break the spell that we're under so we can look at our decisions with more clarity, because that's what this is all about, gaining clarity. So there are 3 fixes to these 3 distortions, right? Asking the opposite question, futurizing, and the third person strategy. I'll be discussing those in the next 3 videos, so please turn on your notifications and subscribe and like this video. We can get to work and you can have these strategies so they can help your own life. And if you don't want to wait, the complete system of my course is available on Udemy. It's called 3 Simple Strategies for Better Decisions. There's also a coupon code down in my description of this video. It's called Mission Launch 26. And I hope that you'll hang out with me. We could talk about decision making. We have a lot of other topics to get into also. So again, I'm Dr. Kim, and I'm here to help close the gap between confusion and clarity. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me.